to go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is going to talk more on like the questioning of the U.S. economy and is it going down or is it going up? And the biggest concern that I wanted to address is inflation and the economic instability within the U.S. And I have my notes on the side, so I'm going off shit. But we're seeing, for example, with these stimulus checks and the stimulus packages and how much money is going out versus going back in, you're going to see an issue where there are issues where too much money in circulation can result in consumer demand exhausting supply chains. And if that happens, shortages can also occur as a result and worse resources become limited. When demand outweighs supplies, the value of the individual dollar drops and the cost of living increases. Interest rates, retirement savings, and investment spending can all be impacted by this. And those things, investment spending, interest rates, those can also affect the other way around. It's inflation, recession, all that stuff. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. So it's not just unidirectional or unilateral within regards to solely too much money in circulation, because there are a lot of factors that go into it, but it can't attribute to it. And oftentimes, too, inflation can also be a signal of a recession. But when you see so much money put into circulation, you're going to run the concern and the fear of devaluing the individual dollar. Well, what happens with that is you start to, when you devalue the dollar, basically what the money that you have now will become worth less. And the resources and the products that you need to acquire to sustain a healthy living will go up. So, like, for example, Germany after World War I, they got hit with such a horrible depression that their currency value was worth more as fire. Like, literally, history books, there were images where it showed families with massive wheelbarrows full of straight cash in the whatever the currency in Germany is called, and they were just used as burning for fire. Now, obviously, that was during the time of the Depression, during world wars, and there's a lot more extreme things that happened back then. But you can't take away the lessons and the minute details that attribute back and forth. When you pump too much money into circulation, you run the risk of devaluing the individual dollar, and you can potentially harm the bottom line of the society. Typically, when the inflation occurs, the people that are on the short end of the stick is the middle and lower class. And it only increases the cost of living. So because so much money is put into circulation, it's going to start exacerbating the supply chains. In order for the supply chains to be able to accommodate it, they're going to have to raise prices to accommodate the demand. And then that's going to result in potentially the dollar devaluing, affecting interest rates, investment spending. And like one of the details that I had read in regards to that is when heavy inflation or hyperinflation occurs, your retirement savings and everything could go from something that'll set you for life to something that'll be absolutely worthless. So we have to watch how much money we pump into circulation and how things go, because you also see with the stimulus checks are great to help assist people and everything to allow them to catch up. But also, guess what? $1,200 isn't going to last people very long. It's a band-aid on a bigger issue. But there's only so much that they could do to help benefit us and so on. I don't know where I'm getting with that, so I'll just move on from it. But essentially, when you pump too much money into circulation, it'll harm us, the average Joe, the working class.